Blog Talk Radio.
The truth is out there. Knowledge is power. This is the Prepper Podcast Radio Network. Are you storing food? Many preppers are storing food for months and years, but only have enough fuel stored for days or weeks. Stretch your fuel storage by harnessing the power of the sun with a sun oven. Food can be baked, boiled, or steamed at temperatures of 360 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit with the power of the sun. Depending on where you are located, you can use the sun for 50 to 80% of your cooking, allowing you to preserve your fuel storage for rainy days. Sun-baked foods stay moister and have less shrinkage and don't burn. Sun-baked roasts are tastier and more succulent, and sun-baked bread has unparalleled taste and texture. Water can be heated in a sun oven for purification or personal hygiene. For the past 25 years, sun ovens have been proudly made in the U.S. They are durable, have a long life, and come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For a discount coupon, email podcast@sunoven.com. That's podcast@sunoven.com. This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from Southeast Oklahoma, USA, to parts unknown.
This is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. I know you can do it. I know you can prep for yourself and for your family. I believe in you. Crisis strikes, you need to reach down and check to see if you got the big boy or big girl underwear on, because you know what, you're going to have to be an adult and you're going to have to step at the plate because you've got people depending on you. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. James Smith, Prepper with the Covert Prepepr Show. How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, I just want to let you know that I guess there's somebody that's got some problems with humanity. Her name is Sandy, and she's coming this away, or if you're on the East Coast, that is. So now is the best chance or best time to be doing some preparing because it will not be pretty if you are not prepared and bad things happen. And as I said before, this is James Smith, and this is the Covert Prepper Show. So let's do my standard intro. All information provided is for entertainment purposes or for post-apocalyptic uses. Well, tonight is going to be informational. I'm a former U.S. Navy enlisted sailor and prison corrections officer for minimum security inmates. I was a covert disability fraud investigator for several years, and I currently work for a company that provides support to disabled. And did you know about half the people that are getting disability this year are ineligible any other year? It's like all the rules got tossed out the window. So as I said, this shows where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. But basically, this is going to be an informational one. This is going to be discussing about storm preparedness. Now, you can reach our call-in line at area code 917-899-908. Twitter name is @. Blog is thecovertprepper.com, and you can reach me at james@thecovertprepper.com, and YouTube channel is The Covert Prepper. Now, you can listen to a live feed by going to prepperpodcast.com, and it automatically pops on. This is done 24/7. But if you're on the road and you're kind of bored, you go to cell service, and nothing to listen to video, call us at area code 786-837-2278. Now, I've got to play a ad is part of our agreements and all that stuff. And so think about what you're about to hear and visit Solutions from Science.
Have you ever wanted to generate your own supply of electrical power, even save money on your electric bill? If so, this is going to be the most important message you will ever hear. Solar power generators are now available. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical power when you need it most. Unlike gas generators, a solar generator runs quietly, emits no fumes, and produces electricity from the sun. It's like having an electric power plant running quietly in your own home. Run sump pumps, shortwave radios, computers, and even keep your food from spoiling. Whether it's hurricanes, ice storms, brownouts, or blackouts, you'll never suffer through painful power outages again. And here's the best news, a remarkable fall truckload sale going on right now that gets you $1,700 in bonuses when you buy a solar generator. To find out why solar generators are the best generators and get $1,700 for doing so, go to falltruckloadsale.com. That's falltruckloadsale.com. Generate your own supply of electricity. Go to falltruckloadsale.com. That's falltruckloadsale.com.
And falltruckloadsale.com. Now, you can also visit the prepperpodcast.com website. On the right-hand side, about midway down, it changes every so often. It's a dynamic. But take a look at, their materials. They've got some pretty good stuff there. And next one coming up here is Awareness Act. Basically, this should have played during the intro, and I just haven't uploaded my new intro. So here you go.
Are you sick and tired of having your First Amendment harassed or censored on Facebook? Use no more, as we now have a new alternative to Facebook. It's called Awareness Act. Awareness Act is a social network designed for patriots, to be used by patriots, and is ran by patriots. Stand up and help in the fight to protect your constitutional rights. Patriots can create pages, blogs, videos, documents, articles, and so much more. We even have a unique news feed system that allows you to share, read, or connect with any patriot on Awareness Act. We are a dedicated tool for patriots to use against the tyranny our Constitution is facing. So if you're tired of having your rights infringed upon, come check us out at www.awarenessact.com. Again, that is www.awarenessact.com, the social network for patriots, not potatoes.
Whether you take me for the fool, I know that I can be. Whether you see me eye to eye.
And that's right. As I had said before, there is a great little outfit, Awareness Act, and also Self Space, and that's who we use. And they're shifting to a step, so something I consider. All right, a couple things to tell you about. Now, this is before I'm getting into all my good stuff about how to prepare for about a giveaway. It's a food giveaway. Everybody loves food. Everybody loves free food, unless it's bad, then we don't want it. But this is good stuff. So we have a new drawing. It's called the Thanksgiving giveaway, food giveaway. And let me read the little blurb that I wrote. That's right, preppers. Our first giveaway of many to come with will be a bucket of food. Not necessarily Thanksgiving food, but if you need it, you'll be thankful that you did the contest. And of course, being preppers, we're sure there's more than just food. All right, so this is a 30-day food kit for one person. It's 30 days, or 4 people, it's good for a week. It's well worth the little bit of effort you have to put in order to get it. It comes with a filtering water bottle, quick light fuel source, firearm, and a meal planner. And it's all packed in a gallon pail. What do you get? You get instant potatoes, macaroni and cheese, creamy potato soup, cheesy broccoli rice, creamy chicken rice, hearty vegetable blend, maple brown sugar oatmeal, and more news, low-fat milk alternative. Now, let's see. The water filter bottle removes up to 99.99% of bacteria, contaminants, and pollutants. Filtering bottle is simple to use. Pop the top, fill the bottle, and let the mirror guard filter do the rest. So there's also this alternative fuel source called Fire On. So it's free. All you have to do is put an entry win. There's 5 ways you can enter. It's not like one, it's 5. You choose which one, because I'm all about choices. A little link, a little image called Alexa. You click on that, and you fill out a review of our website for the Alexa rating system. The second thing you can do is follow in line. I've entered into a giveaway for a 30-day supply of food from Prepper Podcast. Enter at prepperpodcast.com and just tweet. Retweets not accepted. Now, the other thing is going to be you take a link from our news part. It's the PPR news category, and embed it to Reddit, stumble upon News Vice, Newsline, or any other discovery engine, and then you just let us know where you did it, and you're good to go. Now, share on Facebook is the fourth way. Not just like us, but click share. This can be the trickiest. And the next one is going to be there's a HTML code, and then what you need to do is put it on your web page somewhere, and then tell us where it is. And the hardest is going to be wait until November 15th. And we'll let everybody know. Just if it's Farmer Joe at yahoo.com, we'll just say Farmer Joe 1. All right, now let me tell you what you need to do. You need to read this page. It's right in the very upper top. Or email me, James at the covertprepepr.com, and I'll send you the link. But it's really simple. You put your name, you put your email in, and then you tell us what did you do. You click on Alexa review, HTML badge, Facebook share, tweet, social news network. Okay, so let's say you did a social news network. My username or the link is, so this gives us an idea where you did it at, and there's a fill in. You put the fill in there. And then we ask, do you want to be notified of any future drawings? And it's yes, please, or no, thank you. And then please sign me up for the Daily News Digest. Yes, please, no, thank you. And there's a little captcha code, and then you submit. And it really doesn't get much more easy than that, to be honest with you. So that is the 2012 food giveaway. Now, coming up November 15th until December 16th will be the free tablet. It is the Prepper's tablet. It is chock full of prepper stuff. I'm getting more stuff to put onto it because I wasn't happy with what was in there. So I'm going gangbusters on this. All right, so let's get into the topic du jour. First of all, I need to keep that up. No, I don't. I can close that out. All right, so let's talk about this big old storm. Everybody talks about this big old storm. Well, right now, as it looks like, before it hits land in the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, I've got friends in Pennsylvania, so I care about what's going on there. Those that live in the Frostbite Falls area, we're used to blizzards and bad weather. I'm looking at weather.com right now, and let's see, it's saying about 10 inches of rain in the Philadelphia area all the way down to Cape Hatteras. And that's going to be a lot of water. And so that's where it's going to be coming in. And I read that it's going to turn into a tropical storm pretty much when it hits land. And so it will go in towards Erie and Pittsburgh and Buffalo. And so it'll be a tropical storm, so people are going to get wet in that area. Great. It's just water, okay? But it's that high wind that will do you in. But this is a great learning exercise for non-preppers. And we stopped over at Walmart, and they had said that they had to ship stuff over to Virginia. I don't know why, but they had to ship stuff over, more lanterns and whatnot. So I may have misunderstood that, which is entirely possible. Just going to say hi to somebody in the chat room. Okay, anyways. So what do you need to do before you have a disaster? Well, one of the first things you need to do is you need to have a plan. Now, a major disaster can happen like this, where you've got plenty of warning. Or it can be a sudden earthquake where you've got no warning. It could be, well, let's just go with earthquake versus hurricane. All right. So if you do as I suggest now, it will apply to what happens later if there's an earthquake. First thing you need to do is designate an out-of-area contact person, somebody far away. So let's say, for example, if you're on the West Coast, find somebody in the Midwest or on the East Coast. See how easy that is? Maybe it's not your friend. Maybe it's an old classmate. Maybe it's Yahoo, believe it or not. Now, Yahoo is an idea. If you can access the Internet, you can email people via your Yahoo. Duplicate important documents and keep the copies off-site. Another good idea is to take them to the courthouse and have them filed there. You could put them in a safety deposit box, but they do get popped by whatever reasons. Now, passport, driver's license, social security card, wills, deed, financial statements, insurance information, marriage license, prescriptions. These are what need to go into these important documents boxes. Another thing, though, is talk to your doctor and see if the prescriptions that he writes you are also kept somewhere else. Now, if you take your prescriptions to Rite Aid, all Rite Aids would be able to access that information, just as an example. Inventory your valuables in writing and with photographs or video. Keep copies of this information off-site with your other important documents. Now, let's say, for example, you were able to get like carbonite or somebody like that. You can take your videos and you can upload it that way. You can also upload things to YouTube and make them private so nobody else knows but you. And then let's say you have to go to your insurance company and say, yeah, I do have this. It's on my YouTube channel. It's private. Can I borrow your computer so that I can show you? Make a household family plan. Involve all key people in the planning. Basically, involve everybody in the planning. The idea is that you are making sure that everybody knows their part in this. Now, make your home safe. Oh, I remember back in the 50s, a clean house burns slower. It was during the Cold War, and that's why everybody was nitpicky about clean houses. But anyways, make your house safe. Especially in a big storm like what's coming on the East Coast, pick up things that may become projectiles, like 2x4s, trees, and things like this. No, I'm just kidding. Try to do your best. Get lawn furniture put away. Close those windows. If you've got shutters, put them on. Put together a disaster supply kit. We'll go over that in a minute. Plan at least 2 weeks. I got news for you. If you've only got 15 days worth of food, you're still ahead of people who don't. Now, when planning, consider the special needs of children, seniors, or people with disabilities, family members that don't speak English, and pets. Remember, pets, they're our friends. Now, somebody on Facebook had asked me, if we have to bug out, should I bring my blind dog? And I said, yes, by all means, because dogs' mentality is, I'm part of a pack. And we want to make sure that the dogs are able to, hold on one second. We want to make sure that dogs are able to interact and be part of the pack, which is your family. Your family is very important to this dog, even though it's blind. Now, the thing about a blind dog is you think it's absolutely worthless, but no. It's got good ears. It's got good smell, sniffing and whatnot. It can alert you to danger well in advance. So bring those blind animals, in particular dogs. And cats, I love my cats. I will definitely bring my cats with me if we ever have to evacuate and bug out into Checkpoint Bravo, Checkpoint Charlie, wherever. One, because, as I said in the past, cats are excellent hunters. They will bring down small game. But another thing, though, too, is while they've got this game cornered and the game's not moving, like, say, like a rabbit, that gives you the opportunity to take that 22 and dispatch that rabbit quickly. Scare the cats, but you've got yourself a rabbit stew. Got a gentleman in the chat room here. He says he's in Florida and he's always prepared. I'm going to get the Water Bob, and that is a bathtub water container. It holds about 100 gallons of water. I'm going to get that on the giveaway list just because it's so cool. Okay, so that is the simple part. Just got to keep going here. All right, so let's talk about this kit. Let's see. You try to be, everybody says be self-sufficient for 3 days, but the FEMA new things are 2 weeks. Now, put your contents of your kit in large watertight containers, like a large garbage can with wheel and lids that you can move around easily. Excellent idea. Okay, what do you need? You need 1 gallon per day per person of water. Now, some experts say a half a gallon, a 2-liter bottle. Okay, plan on that. Food, ready to eat or requiring minimal water. A classic example is condensed soup or regular canned soup. Manual can opener and other cooking supplies, plates and utensils and other feeding supplies, first aid kit and instructions, a copy of important documents and phone numbers, warm clothes and rain gear for each family member, heavy work gloves, disposable camera, that would be to record any kind of damage, Unscented liquid household bleach and an eyedropper for water purification, 8 drops per gallon. Or you can get a cellular water filter, or you can get the Prepepr cup. Personal hygiene items including toilet paper, feminine supplies, hand sanitizer, and soap. After disaster, this is very important, if you get a cut, you run the risk of an infection. If you do any kind of work, even if you're wearing gloves, wash your hands. Plastic sheeting, duct tape, and a utility knife for covering broken windows. Tools such as crowbar, hammer, nails, staple gun, adjustable wrench, and bungee cord. Blankets or sleeping bags. Large, heavy-duty plastic bags and a plastic bucket for waste and sanitation. You can always compost that. Now, don't forget food for Fluffy or Spot, because they're going to want it. Now, if you've got to put in your get out of Dodge, get home bag, whatever you want to call it, bug out bag, you may want to keep other things that you're aware of, such as flashlight, batteries, radio, whistle, dust mask, pocket knife, a little bit of extra cash, sturdy shoes, water and food, map. I would suggest you use the Fragis, Fragis map. If you don't know what that is, email me, james@thecovertprepper.com. A permanent marker, paper, and tape. That's so that you can mark stuff, I've been here type thing. Photos of family members and pets for re-identification purposes. List of emergency point of contact phone numbers. List of allergies to any drugs. Copies of health insurance and identification cards. Extra prescription eyeglasses and hearing aids and whatever else. Prescription medication, toothbrush and toothpaste. Extra keys to your house and vehicle. And don't forget Fluffy. All right. I'm going to take a look, see if my person has called in. Okay, I'm waiting for Susanne Poesel to call in, and she's going to be calling in soon. I'm just going to see if I can pull a fast one here on my computer. Yeah, that one. Okay, let's see if I can get rid of that one. All right, so let's keep going. Now, according to FEMA, they do suggest that you have a communication system set up. Now, what you're doing in this communication system is you're going to be learning on who you need to contact, and do they know about it, and what do you need to do in order to be really prepared for a disaster of this epic biblical proportion that we usually see this time of year every year. All right. Maintain a list of phone numbers in your cell phone and in or near your home phone. Keep charged batteries and car phone chargers available for backup power for your cell phone. Let's go back to emergency phone numbers. Let's say Grandma lives on the West Coast. Grandma lives on the East Coast. Give Grandma your phone numbers, your emergency phone numbers, so that you can get a hold of Grandma, so Grandma can get those information to you. Okay. I just need 10 seconds of the time. Just be a moment. Okay, back. All right, so I've got Susanne on the phone. All right. If you have a traditional landline, in other words, it's wired, keep at least one non-cordless phone in your home because it will work when you lose power. Prepare a family contact sheet. This will include at least one out-of-town contact. Program your ICE contacts as in case of emergency. For example, I've got my wife and kids on mine. If you are evacuated and have your call forwarding on your home phone, forward your home number to your cell phone number. That way people don't worry. And let me tell you, if they only have your home number, they're probably going to have your cell phone number. And the one thing about this is if you've got somebody who wants to talk to you about a personal matter, you're going to have to talk to them during a disaster. Stepson's having problems with that. And let's see, if you do have a cell phone, keep a prepaid phone card to use if needed during or after a disaster. Actually, that was a stepson. Have a battery-powered radio or television available with spare batteries. It's pretty much not valid because televisions now are totally digital, the signals are, and you're not going to be able to catch anything. Subscribe to text alert services from local or state governments to receive alerts in the event of disaster. For example, the school district emergency alert system, I mean, I get mine from National Weather Service as to bad weather. If you have a life-threatening emergency, call 911. If you don't have a life-threatening emergency, do not call 911. If it's a non-emergency communication, use text messaging, email, or social media instead of making phone calls. Make all the phone calls brief if you have to make a phone call. If you're unsuccessful in completing a call using your cell phone, wait 10 seconds before redialing to reduce network congestion. Okay? A lot of other things here, but here's one thing that you need to understand is if, let's say, for example, I'm in this bad area, just as an example, and it's supposed to hit, let's say, Monday night. Tomorrow, I'm going to make sure my property is well done. I'm going to make sure my phones are charged up. I'm going to make sure my generator has got gas. I'm going to make sure my vehicle's gassed up. I'm going to make sure that if I've got something that, if I think I'm going to lose power, I'm going to budget something in my dinner menus, what we're going to have for the week, that do not require any kind of cooking. This is not an apocalypse, okay? You can break into your emergency food if you've got replacements just for rotation purposes. This is not the end of the world. It's an inconvenience. You may lose power. You might lose power for 3 or 4 days. That's an inconvenience. The end of the world, or the end of the world as we know it, it's going to last a whole lot longer. So conserve what you've got. Conserve your preps. If you've got a generator, it better be because somebody's on a respirator, or you're running it for 2 hours to keep your refrigerator cold, or whatever reason. Just conserve what you've got. This is a minor issue. Yes, it's horrible. It's a minor problem. You'll get through this. You'll have some property damage, but everything will be fine. Okay, so I'm about to bring on Susanne here. Let me find her intro. I've got her intro. All right, so Susanne Poesel is one of the most sought-after and up-and-coming alternative media journalists and radio guest in the business. With the advent of the Region 10 Report and the collaboration of her website, www.occupycorporatism.com, her well-researched articles that expose the real truth behind the news, her hard-hitting and honest broadcasting will continue in a new format. Please join Susanne Poesel and her co-host David Poesel for the Region 10 Report on the Proper Podcast Network, as well as her site Occupy Corporatism for her latest articles. And bring her back on here. I want to apologize for totally butchering that. I feel terrible. And I was looking and saying, you know what? I really didn't butcher that. Those are some misspells, so it's not my fault.
Oh, no, I put in typos?
Yeah, that's fine. It happens.
Well, it just proves that I'm not a bot.
Well,
I'm an actual person.
That's true. And it also means that your spell check is working well. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. You're not showing up. There you go. So, Susanne, tell us about yourself.
Well, I started out as a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschool my children. And I just, I got sick of hearing all the lies in the media, and I decided I'm going to do this myself. So I started the website, and I started writing articles, and people started picking them up, some of the major alternative news sites out there, and reposting me, and I gained more popularity. I started doing radio and got over that fear and started doing more radio, and here I am.
I remember my first interview, I was going into shock. I could actually feel myself going into shock. It was horrible. I totally know how you feel. And so you do all these articles, and you do this from the safety and comfort of your home, or do you have an office?
No, I do them from the safety and comfort of my home, in between nap times and late at night.
Now, is that your nap time, or is that somebody else's nap time? Little ones?
Oh, the little ones. I don't sleep. I don't have time.
Yeah, I totally know that feeling. I'm up to the couple of hours myself. Now, when you said the lies that you saw, where did you see the lies coming from? Was there a particular network that was more, worse at it, or is it just a systemic problem?
It just seemed to come from all different directions in the mainstream media. They would lie by omission. They would give, sometimes they tell you the truth, but they don't think you're smart enough to, copy and a group or a word and then put it into a Google search and find out exactly what they're not telling you. And I found that misinformation is worse than disinformation. If it's a completely fabricated story, that's bad in itself. But when you trust a news source and they give you a bunch of truth and then stick in a couple of lies in there, well, they've already got you because you believe them, you trust them, you're loyal to them. You're not looking for any lies. You don't click on the source links. You just blindly trust what they have to say, and that's very dangerous, including in the alternative media. It's very dangerous when listeners and readers get to a point where they absolutely trust the source where they're getting their information, and they don't click on the source links to find out whether or not the article that they're reading is based in reality.
Right. I know when I do my articles, I try to, if I make a statement, red is blue, it better have a link on there. I can't do it in good conscience. I can't put that on there.
I do the same thing. I have like 15 to 20 source link articles or sources that I link up to. And I also try to dig up the actual document. I don't just talk about the document. I try to actually source it or, link it so that the people can go read it for themselves. Or if it's a meeting like a summit, I link to the actual summit so they can read. I've done articles about like the United Christians for Israel when they had their meeting in Washington a couple of months ago, and actually linked to the itinerary so people could read that they had like Zionism 101, and they're actually like teaching these people how to speak on behalf of the global elite to other Christians. Like they have classes for that, workshops.
Now, when you mean Zionism, are you talking about the single mom in Jerusalem who's working 2 jobs to feed her family, or are you talking about somebody else?
I'm talking about somebody else. It has nothing to do with the Jewish faith, the Jewish religion, the Jews that practice the religion, absolutely nothing. Zionism is about colonialism and about using commerce and using communism to take over a country and what we're seeing across the globe eventually to take over the world. The UN is one of their fronts, and the banking cartels are another one of their fronts where they manipulate all of the markets. They manipulate situations in order to enslave people and basically take over. It has absolutely nothing to do with Judaism.
I kind of miss the days of freedom. I mean, it used to be you could be a free person and not have to worry about, watching your back over, the bankers are going to take away your home or the county's going to take away your home because of non-payment of taxes or A, B, C, D, F, G. I mean, it's kind of hard not being a free person anymore.
Right. I miss the days when you could have your child play in a mud puddle and or have your kids riding their bikes in a cul-de-sac and the cops don't show up and harass your child or take you to jail.
Right.
So
what's your format of your show going to be like?
Well, my husband and I are going to do the show together. When I do my research for my articles, obviously, I talk about it with my husband, and he's very knowledgeable. He has a background in metallurgy, and his parents, his father owned the 3rd largest silver foundry in the world, so he knows a lot about metals and the metals market, and also about chemistry. I'm sorry. His father is a chemist, so my husband knows a lot about also engineering and electronics. So I want him to ride shotgun with me so people can get another perspective and kind of maybe even be a fly on the wall on conversations that we have. Because I'm very topical, and I do this 24 hours a day, and he does this with me in the evenings when he comes home from work. So I thought it would be interesting to bring him along for the ride so that people could get other perspectives other than mine. I think people might, I don't know if anybody would get sick of listening just to my voice, but he knows a lot, and I think that he has a lot to bring to the table.
Well, as a new host, I need to let you know that the week of Christmas and the week after Christmas, so basically it's the last week in Christmas and the first week, or last week in December and the first week in January are all repeats. So that way you can take a break, okay?
That'd be good.
Because we need you fresh, we need you ready. Now, are you working on any big stories right now?
Well, I find it interesting, this CNBC gentleman whose children were murdered, and it was the children were found murdered the day after he posted an article about the $43 trillion lawsuit that has been issued against all of the banks that were involved in the mortgage-backed securities. And he was the vice president of digital media at CNBC. And so there are initial reports out. It's hard to gauge what actually happened, but there are conflicting reports, which is good for my job because I'm, taking everything and comparing it and working on that. Benghazi is one of the things that I cover a lot because even in the alternative media, people are still saying that it was an embassy, and it wasn't. You can go to usembassy.gov and find out that there's no diplomatic mission, no embassy, no consulate there in Benghazi. It was a rented villa that was rented out by the U.S. State Department by a gentleman who lives in Benghazi. And I think that false flag that happened is there's so much going on there. There's ties to the Saudi government. There's even ties to what's going on in Syria because the Saudi government is sending over weapons and ammunition to the Free Syrian Army who are fighting the proxy war for us. The majority of the Free Syrian Army are Salafis who are, come from Saudi Arabia. And we have direct ties, and we've had very intimate direct ties with the Saudi Arabian government for many, many years. I think even I'd go as far as to say a couple of decades with both Bush administrations. Definitely, you can see that tie there. And I don't believe the story that the mainstream is saying that it had anything to do with Obama. I think Obama is definitely dangerous for our country. But Clinton she has the power. It's in her employee capacity to decide who gets security. And security was denied for U.S. Ambassador Stevens. So I'm hitting this home, and I keep hitting it over and over again because I want people to understand that the cover-up is a lot bigger than a botched kidnapping trade for the blind sheik.
Oh, is that what some of the things that people are saying, the trade?
Yeah, but when you read the reports on that, the Obama administration was going to trade the blind sheik for U.S. Ambassador Stevens, and it was supposed to be a kidnapping, and it was all supposed to be planned. And at the last minute, Al-Qaeda, who is Mujahideen, that we created, going all the way back
in the 80s.
Yes,
the 80s.
Exactly. So whenever they say Al-Qaeda, I know that they're lying. The reports that are purveying this, including, Glenn Beck, they all say that it was a diplomatic mission and an embassy. Well, if these people can't go on the usembassy.gov website and find out that it wasn't, I don't believe that either. There's inconsistencies and there's propaganda in the story, even though they're trying to out the propaganda and tell you a true story. So there's layers, there's lies on every level.
It's really to draw a straight line in something like that because it's always data point, and then you kind of need that point in order to get to the fifth one down the line. It's the web they weave when at first they practice to deceive, and it just annoys me. I'm smart enough to figure out that you're lying to me. You just stop, but they keep going.
Well, they
Amazing.
don't. They don't think that we're going to look it up and find out. They don't think that we're smart enough to figure this out. They dumb us down with all the chemicals in the food and the chemtrails and the fluoride. I always say to people, don't underestimate the power of fluoride. If it was good enough for the Nazis, it's good enough for, It calcifies around the pineal gland, and it literally makes you unable to be cognizant. So,
well, the calcification around the pineal gland initially being a part of age been around since forever, and that part where old people get a whole lot of sleep. The pineal gland basically compromised. You can see it on an X-ray.
You're cutting out.
Sorry, pineal gland calcifies over time. It's a natural occurring event. That's why old people don't need as much sleep.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Right. I can barely hear you. Keep cutting out.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Sorry about that. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. My my other line was on mute. But anyways, keep going about the other stories that you're working on.
Well, I'm working on whatever I can get my hands on. You know, I try to cover as many topics as possible, as well as being topical what's going on in the news right now. But I also like to tie in what's going on or what has been going on for a long time, because we have a short attention span. I like to call it the microwave mentality. If we can't have it in 30 seconds or less, we don't want it. And we forget. We forget what happened yesterday or last week. So I'm constantly reiterating points in my articles and tying in information that's coming out today to what happened a while back. One of the stories that I think was shocking was this meningitis scare, you know, that's going on right now. And they're blaming it on black mold, and it's they found traces of black mold fungus inside the steroid injections. But meningitis is a form of polio, and no one in the mainstream is saying that, and I don't expect them to. But I was surprised that nobody in the alternative media picked that up either.
Well,
and so we're reemergence of a polio virus going on.
There's, when it comes to my degree's in medical science, and when it comes like in the family, Clostridium, you have Clostridium botuli and Clostridium tetani. So those are two different animals. One is botulism, and the other is tetanus. There's
right.
some similarities. Now, with meningitis, there's a few different things. Now, the one you really never, ever want to get is meningococcosemia. That's when you actually have meningitis within the blood system. You're going to get lots of bruising all over real quick, and you have less than a day to live unless you get medical care.
Right.
But with the mold, it's my understanding, it was within there was no clean room, and so this mold got in that way. It's my understanding. And
that's what they're saying in the mainstream, that it was contaminated, and because they mixed all of these drugs with a compound drug, that they just weren't doing their job properly. You know, they should have had sterile equipment and sterile areas that they didn't have. But it reminds me, and it's a little bit off topic, but when I was reading all of these reports, it reminded me of the Bayer Company, when they were sending blood to hemophiliacs, and it was laced with AIDS. And they said, oops, I'm sorry, wrong batch. Well, why do you
have... That was before they had the mandatory testing.
Right. Well, let's take advantage of that. And why did they even have AIDS-laced blood to begin with? You know?
I have no idea. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s when that happened.
Right.
Now, there was also another event Bayer was involved in, and it was contaminated polio vaccine, I believe. That was back in the 50s. So there's a lot of problems in the medical field, and they'll never get them sorted out because somebody's bound to make a mistake. It's just one of those things that's going to happen, and it's really hard to really do a punitive, it places punitive action on somebody. No, I'm not using the right word. Use conspiracy. It's like, oh, you're trying to kill all the Jews. No, I'm not. It was an accident. And I work in Israel, so this is the way it is. But anyways, this meningitis thing is a bit worrisome. They're saying about 14,000 people may be affected, and so that the big thing is that people need to be aware of, like, well, where did my steroid shot come with? And the first thing they need to do is get on the horn with their doctor and say, am I at risk? And then, in fact, I'm sure
I think that the state of Florida actually outlawed any deliveries from the New England, the NECC, coming into the state of Florida at all, which I think is a good thing. If you're not sure, just go ahead and boycott it and just don't go there at all.
Right. Now, I think it was New Jersey, they did spot inspections on all their pharmacies, their compounding facilities, just to make sure. And so that's a good purpose for government. Telling me that I can't grow veggies in my front lawn is a bad purpose, but protecting the people this way is a good purpose. Well,
the FDA is actually doing their job.
Right, instead of going outside their purview. So why don't you tell people when your show's going to be, and then how they can contact you?
My show is going to be on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. And
Central.
I'll have links on my website, occupycorporatism.com, and you can go to that website and catch up with the latest articles. If anybody out there wants to contact me, I do read all my emails. admin@occupycorporatism.com if you want to say hi or give me a tip or whatever. I do read my articles, and I do try to get back to everybody that emails me.
Would you put a little link on there for the food giveaway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. I think that's a great thing.
I sent that article to you, and I know you read it because I got notification you read it.
Yes, you always make me sign off that I read it, so.
I do it to everybody, so don't worry.
Okay.
Even Alex Jones has to do that one, so no big deal. All right, so they can catch you by email, and do you have a YouTube channel?
It's up and coming. It's not up yet, but it will be. We're working out the details on all the software to get everything going so that the podcast that I do on the Prepper Podcast Network will be able to be viewed on YouTube, but it's not up yet, but it's coming soon.
Okay, because when you send it to me, part of my things that I do is I put it on the website, and so all you have to do is download and re-upload.
Okay.
See how easy that is?
Okay, when I get going. Huh?
See how easy that is?
I love it. Anything that
okay.
I have so many things going on. Anybody who can help me make my job easier, that'd be great.
All right. Okay, well, I've got no more questions for you, so I'll tell you what, why don't you go have a rest of a good evening and eat some pizza or whatever and enjoy that nice wet weather in Portland.
Yes, it is raining right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't live very far from there, so enjoy, and I will talk to you later.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, that was Susanne Poesel. She's with OccupyCorporatism.com, and she'll be doing the Region 10 report. Now, you can start listening to that on Tuesday the 6th, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, put that on your calendar because that is Election Day. Time to stop an error from occurring or recurring. So do your civil duty and vote your conscience, if you would, on the 6th. And when you get done, download the Region 10 report from, well, it'll be on Spreaker and then Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, and just about anywhere else I can put it. And that way you can hear her show. You will be able to listen to it live, and that's 8 p.m. Central Time on Blog Talk Radio, so you can listen in. You can call in and listen at area code 917-889-7908, and that will you can listen and you can enjoy. All right, James Smith, the Covert Prepepr. I'm going to take off out of here. I've got some dinner I need to eat soon. So I will talk to you all later, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And if you're on the East Coast, stay dry.
Warning, the unprepared may not survive the next natural disaster, terrorist attack, or economic collapse. In light of recent global unrest and natural disasters, we bring you this urgent message from David Morris, author of the acclaimed Urban Survival Course. Because this message is urgent, we won't waste time on the why you should act now. You already know why. It's the very real and growing dangers reported in the media every day. Now it's the what you must do. Go to myminisurvivalcourse.com and claim your free Urban Survival mini course that will prepare you for breakdowns in civil order. Today, David Morris is offering you instant access to his 7-part Urban Survival mini course at myminisurvivalcourse.com. You should already be at your keyboard. Enough talk. Act now while you still have time and while it's still free. myminisurvivalcourse.com. myminisurvivalcourse.com. Or call 1-866-558-1040. 1-866-558-1040. You'll be glad you did.
You are listening to KPRN-DB in Southeast Oklahoma.